You gotta come over a little bit. Ah. Did you grind it out today? Did you? And today's gonna be a doozy of a topic.
No, it's not.
Alright. Hang with the Joneses, episode 31. I'm Rashad.
I'm Kesha.
Again, if you have not, you should like, share, and subscribe to us on YouTube. If you see us on IG and Facebook there, Hanging with the Joneses on IG, Hanging with the Joneses, Hanging with _ the Joneses. That's Jones. Facebook, Hanging with the Joneses. YouTube, Hanging with the Joneses. We'll be in the comments. So, what we talking about today?
Changes. Everything changed. There's a season. In one of my favorite scriptures, there's a season for everything.
Amen.
Like, thrive or live when it's not your season, or the season you're in you don't really like.
I don't know. Like, okay, so, all right. That's a hard question. How do you thrive even when you know it's not really your time?
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. Life does have some changes, even within ourselves, especially like within our marriage. There's been several shifts. And the thing that I had to learn most was the first I had to acknowledge that there was some sort of change happening, even if I didn't really understand it. Then I had to accept that it was changing, because I can acknowledge something,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? I can see it, but then I cannot accept it. So then I had to accept that, okay, this thing is changing before my eyes and it's actually a thing. Lastly, I had to then adhere to something new, because it is a change. You have to find a new way to go about your life. And to be honest, one of the biggest changes for me was really having to acknowledge, accept, and adhere to you actually having like a true medical issue.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was hard for me. And sometimes even right now, through your recovery and being better, it's still difficult because I don't know when is what.
Mm-hmm.
So there are times where it's okay. Early in our relationship, I hope you listened to the last episode about when we was, courting and stuff.
Hi, Grandma.
Yeah, So there was a time where you would be very reiterative on purpose. Rashad, do this. Rashad, do this. Rashad, do this.
Because Rashad's a procrastinator.
Yeah, I am by nature. And now we can legit have a conversation 5 minutes later. Hey, Rashad, do this. Fam, we just talked about this 2 minutes ago. And you will be like, oh,
He is oversaturated.
Why you gotta remind me I have a tumor? Like, fam, like,
The lies he tell. He is telling a lie.
Why do you have to remind me that I have something wrong with me? I'm like,
Rashad,
cool out.
No,
yo. Like,
Rashad make it seem like he just like so innocent. Like, I just like, what's going on, boo? And then no, it don't be like that. The reason I get angry because Rashad's like, so yo, like, you really don't remember that? Like, I'm like, no, so you tell me you really don't remember that 5 years? No. Okay, for people bring you up, I do have a benign brain tumor, and part of it is that my short-term memory is impacted.
it sucks.
So I can literally that's why I'm like, so it's like, I'm telling you this, but don't tell nobody else. I'm like, worse, because I ain't gonna remember. So bet I ain't gonna remember after you tell me. So bet can't say you heard from me, because you can't even tell me you heard it. I'm like, you told me? For real?
Yeah.
Is it the truth, for sure?
Unfortunately, it is. I wish it wasn't, so I can call you a liar, but it's not.
Yeah. So when he said the change, yes, the change in the memories. It bothers me sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, hey, whatever. It is what it is, because I'm also getting older. But I do agree with you, because it doesn't help. Going back that Rashad is a procrastinator. So knowing I might say, can you do da-da-da? Being that he's a procrastinator, he doesn't do it. And I would forget that I would even ask that, or forget that whatever thing needs to be done until something happened that triggers it. I'm like, wait, hey, didn't I ask you that before? And then he's making that face. Yep. Oh yeah. However, my memory, right? I have a medical issue. His memory, I remember more than him.
Yeah. And I just chalk it up to just me not caring about certain things. I'm just gonna be honest. I feel throughout my day I have things that are important, things that are semi-important, and things that absolutely have no bearing on my day.
Cause he'll tell me stories twice too, but see, me, I just go yeah. Act like it's the first time I heard it. Him, you know you told me that story before. How many times I listen to your story and act like I ain't hear it? So that's the thing too. Oh, what I like for you to change? You being a procrastinator. What? My nail couldn't be changed for you. Get me worked up.
This had nothing to do with.
My nail polish changed colors.
It's not even a topic. Like...
Freeform. But change. And do you think you take to change well?
No, I hate change. I am.
But we sometimes pray for change.
That doesn't have to do with nothing to do with whether I like it or not. Sometimes it's okay. Change is a necessity of life. Like there is nothing stagnant. Things have to be moving, progressing to either to a new target or down the same path. Either way, like change is inevitable. I don't like change. I get used to people. I get used to situations. I love familiarity and I love routine. So, like even the whole pandemic, that was a change for me that I had to really super address in the moment and really kind of get a hold of myself because that change was out of the ordinary.
And I was excited.
Yeah.
Not for the pandemic.
Yeah.
No, not at all. But I get to stay home.
Yeah.
And you were like, I get to stay home. I don't want to.
Like, I'm cool with staying home, but like,
he's like, no, you said your words. All of y'all gonna be home.
Yeah, that's like I don't want to be home with all y'all. Like this is not going.
And I was like, I'm home with all of y'all.
It's like I did not want to be here with everybody, y'all. Like if I was here by myself, like that would be amazing. I can get stuff done. I can be really super productive.
He could be a procrastinator.
Or that too.
Right.
I mean, it would be an option. So that's that change right there. Ugh. Yeah. That was a huge change this year. The amazing thing about that was just the kind of how we were able to navigate through that. Mm-hmm. That was a good thing too.
Because I think like we said in episode 30, sometimes not being on the same page is helpful. Because even though you saw that change as like kind of a roadblock, I was excited about it because one thing we always said we wanted and prayed for. More time with each other and our children. Yeah,
I didn't really want to like that though.
Sometimes you don't get it the way you asked for it, but
definitely
you get
not. Yeah, and then 2 months in, I was like, I don't even want no more time with y'all.
2 months.
2 months.
You nice. The first week, I was like, oh gosh.
And that's the sad part because you wasn't even home right off the jump. You had to wait like about a month for they let y'all work from home. And that was another transition. I said, because as soon as you add Kesha to anything in regards to the house, then it instantaneously becomes about you. Like the dynamics.
So.
Are you serious?
So, yes. Okay.
Let me ask you a question. Do you cook your food?
I never did though. So whether it's out.
Okay.
Since he's going close. And doing his very white voice.
Do you?
No, I don't cook my food, but I never did either.
Let me ask you a question. Do you even prepare your food?
I never did. No.
Okay, so adding you back to that equation, at home, now I have to make sure that I cater to you, make sure you're good, because you're not going to eat if I don't. Like you, like a 7-year-old playing.
Oh my gosh.
Like
that. I won't stop working.
Yeah, so I have to make sure that you decent, that you
That's
eat.
True.
You know what I'm saying? That you're manageable, that the kids aren't bothering you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're actually literally at work, working from home.
And a lot of times I'm live.
Yeah. So you're dealing with very, very hard cases and people dealing with suicide, stuff like that. So I can't have Nia in here yelling or Desiree, singing and dancing and so those type of things.
Oh my gosh.
So
and
that's happened.
I'm on mute like Yes, sir. So how can I?
So you know,
Oh my gosh.
so adding you into that dynamic
Okay, I can get that.
was another change on top of
In the eating part, I will work straight through. No breaks, no eating, no drinking water. I will work.
yeah.
Especially with the population I'm dealing with, it's always something to me that I will work
Yeah,
straight
like,
through.
I
And
gotta-
honestly, Rashad has to sit like,
Literally got to take you out on walks.
yeah, like a dog.
Yeah.
No, take me out no.
Yeah, come on, girl. Come on, girl. It's time for a walk. I'm ready for your walk.
I take that because I call you my CNI dog. So
Yeah.
well, if Rashad, honestly, if he doesn't prompt me, I won't. I not that I won't. I forget, and that's another thing. The short term memory gets some stuff I literally forget, or you get caught up in your work, and then he's looking. I'm like, oh my gosh, the day's over with already. I still have to finish set assignments.
Yeah. So going back to that initial change from your tumor, a lot of those things play into how I know I have to make sure that you do some of these things. So when you're at work, you're on a schedule. Somebody else is prompting you. So let's go. Come on, so let's go outside and walk. Or like everybody's eating lunch. Oh, yeah, I need to eat lunch too. Or you just work straight through the day and it's 3:00 and I'm just taking my lunch as I'm going home. So those things are already kind of in place. Another thing too, like when adding you into the equation, you already know, like our parents' styles are totally different. So what your expectations from the kids are different from mine. Mine is do what you have to do by a certain amount of time, and then if it's not, then it's that. You are, excuse me, do this now, do it this way, or else. So the whole atmosphere is different because you're here. It's not a negative thing or a positive thing. It's just a thing because we're different people.
Yeah, I think Rashad, and it's surprising people want to say Rashad is way more flexible. When it comes to education, I'm not because trying to be flexible, they ran game on us. Our oldest ran game on us. I'm really, really. Let me see your work. Show me this. I'm calling you a teacher now. Rashad like, it'll come back around. I'm like, no. Let's do something before it become a situation.
Yeah, and then the fact that I teach for a living and I teach high school, so it's like I don't feel like dealing with this too. Which just sounds horrible, but it's the truth. Like I'm dealing with kids all day long, and I gotta come on there with you. No.
So I'm the one. So yeah, our parenting styles are totally different. And a lot of times, like you said, I'm doing a live. A lot of my stuff is on live, so I can't have any
Distractions. Yeah.
And a lot of times it's like live video and microphones. Not just that I can mute my microphone. I can't, I'm on video too.
Yeah.
And that has been difficult to me. I'm still trying to work on, as long as they've been out of school, that is still an issue in trying to navigate. That's a change that hasn't been really resolved yet. Because the days where I need to be live is the day those days he has to go into school. So that has not, and that is, oh my gosh, I'm telling you, I can tell them, I can prep them, hey, I'm going live at such and such time to this time, so don't, right? It's like, I told them, Ma, and then give me something, what? My tablet not on, or can I get my tablet? I just hear them, shh, Mom is on live, don't tell. Like, I still can hear y'all. Or they're fighting. So that's the one, yes, that change, even though I'm glad to be home, that change is the one that's not fully, I'm accepting of, or we haven't changed or came up with a solution to that change.
No, it's no real, I don't think there's a solution. The solution is cooperation, and our kids don't want to do that. So,
but then let's go back to even the change, like you said, is we don't like change. So I'm be honest, some things I don't like change. However, some stuff we pray for change, and like even talking about the quarantine, even though our prayers was to spend more time with each other, ourselves, and with just alone time, we got that, and then we like, well, I was excited. Kind of like, oh, I don't like this. But it's like, well, you got what you prayed for, but just because it didn't look like what you thought it would, you almost be kind of rejected.
Yeah, I was not prepared. You know, I mentally just wasn't prepared for this, and it took me a couple of days to kind of get my bearings, and talking with you, talking with my therapist, really just praying and stuff. Like I had to really kind of step back, really think about what's going on, and then I was able to move forward. Because a lot of times we want the change, but okay, so we don't prep ourselves for the change. In this situation, there was something to prep for. But most times we say we want to do a thing, but we never give ourselves enough leeway or space to actually prepare ourselves for the thing. So it's like, quick analogy, somebody who wants to lose weight, they don't prepare themselves for that. Whether it's mentally or just start to make small changes in their diet or in their physical activity so they can start moving towards that actual goal. So and then you have people who, we talked about before, those New Year's resolution people want to jump into it, get their behind whoops.
No consistency.
Yeah, and then, it's January, it's Martin Luther King Day, and they day drinking.
I tried.
I tried,
That's me.
Big up to MLK, so.
He would want me to rest.
Yeah. He died so I can have a day off. This third Monday in January. So that those type of things where we want to change, but will not prepare ourselves for the change. And this kind of goes into the vlog I did a couple weeks ago about how, like, what do you do when you're in a drought? And so the whole premise of that is when you're in a place of comfort, and then God literally takes you out of your comfort into somewhere else, and you then have to figure out why you're here, what am I doing here, and how do I move forward? And that's happened to everybody, especially like biblical figures. Everybody is in a desert at one point. Like, you're gonna be in a desert, or as the King James would say, the wilderness. The wilderness is not trees and creeks; it's the desert. So, what do you do when you're in the drought? Am I gonna thrive? Like how do I thrive when there's no rain? And a lot of times, the source you already are planted by the source. The source is basically, and where the scripture goes is like be planted by the, you're like a tree planted by the rivers of flowing water. So if I'm planted by the water, then I'm getting my source via irrigation. So for us, if I'm planted somewhere else, the source is already inside of me. I just got to stop looking around me, look within me to what God's already planted inside of me, and actually start moving forward within the harsh environment.
And what that reminded me of is a time someone said they wanted to do something, and it had to be from God. And I said, how are you going to do something? You're not in a go position. And that's what reminded me. A part of it is in the drought, still preparing, because it's not going to be like this always. But if you stand there and kind of just get numb, when it is a go position, when it's time for you to go, you're not prepared.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah, and even being uprooted, like the thing about that word planted means to be uprooted and placed somewhere else. So that doesn't mean like you just was, no, literally you were in one position, you got uprooted from where you were, and you were placed somewhere else. So your position isn't one of punishment, but it's a placement. So if you know your place where you're supposed to be, then you need to figure out and start searching on how you're gonna thrive while you're in this place, when everybody else may not be thriving. And even right now, like I feel like in some aspects, I myself, I'm in a drought because I feel like I'm thriving in some areas where I shouldn't be, and we shouldn't be, and a lot of people are not, but we still know where our source comes from. So that change from March to now, we were all placed in a different situation, but I know right by where we're planted, the water is there anyway. So it doesn't matter. We still gonna receive what we're supposed to receive.
And I'm hearing that, and even for what comes to mind is Joshua. We're talking about being sown with the wilderness, being uncomfortable, maybe doing something that you see nobody else have done, and being comfortable in your uncomfort.
Yeah.
Which is
yeah.
A contradiction.
Yeah.
But you have to be comfortable in your uncomfort.
And that's like your big thing. You are go and say it.
My philosophy has always been people don't change until they're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
As long as you comfort, more likely people assume we usually choose to be comfortable.
Yeah, you want to be comfortable.
Yeah.
But again, if there's a change that needs to happen, you have to be placed out of your comfort. You have to be placed in the drought. And the thing is too, like our place of comfort can be terrible and horrible for us.
That's comfort.
But it's familiar.
It.
So that's the amazing part about this whole notion of change. And even looking at myself, like I can clearly see how from when we first met to how I am now, like how I've changed as an individual. I feel like I'm still the same person, but I'm just way more refined. Mm-hmm. Like who I am is always who I will be, but I'm just way more polished than I was at 19, 20 years old. Mm-hmm. So if there is no way that you're gonna accept going through that refining process, and actually see yourself being better, doing better, behaving better, being a better person, contributing to some part of your society, then you're just existing, and that sucks.
But the hard part, and it can be difficult, not saying it can't be done, but the difficult part is, I always say sometimes we settle for being Dominiques, because part of getting to that, instead of being the diamond we are, it's too much pressure. Yeah. There's no diamond being made that we call a pure diamond without pressure and heat. Mm-hmm. A lot of times when we feel like pressure and heat, especially me, I'm out. I'm done. This is too much. Give me my Dominique and I'll be good. No, it's still something. And sometimes you can abort it right before you're at that point. Joshua could have aborted when he saw the giant. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's like sometimes we stop right at that point, and that's what we need to see. And be honest, in comfort, we usually don't grow.
Nah, not at all. I mean, even like, I'm just, again, speaking for myself. I can see the amount of growth I've had from March to now. It's measurable. Mm-hmm. There's some things that I've done. I've been able to make processes for myself. Like it was like stuff that I wanted to do, or I didn't imagine myself doing, that I'm actually doing right now. This being one of them, and even getting better when it comes to my photography or even videography, which I really didn't want to do, but I'm getting better at that as well. So there's a lot of things that I had to get uncomfortable so I can actually start to grow some more. Mm-hmm. And I'm very thankful for that. And a lot of times people will just get stuck in a rut, mm-hmm. and be very cool with just having things very status quo.
It's uncomfortable. It's because even sometimes my population right now is dealing with a lot of abuse. People who have been abused, domestic violence relationship. A lot of people always say, why you don't stay, why you don't go, why you stay, why you don't go. But the thing is, not that it's comfortable, but they know they're demon.
Yeah.
Once I step out those doors, I don't know what may be around the corner. Am I going to have somewhere to live? How I'm going to eat, my clothing, we're going to get. But as long as I'm right here, I know. And that's the same thing. Even though it can be the most unhealthy reason, it's like, well, I already know this situation. I know this cycle. But if I step out, I don't know what that may be like. I may not have never seen that, or I'm so detached from that, to stepping out. I'm scared to do it. And the fear comes in a lot when it's coming to change. And the thing is, we said so many times, and let me know if this is not you, but many things that we have prayed for change. Same thing we're scared of change.
Yeah, you don't really want it.
Yeah. And then even with certain situations, okay, with the tumor and the medical issue, when they came back to going to counseling, I said, Lord, I am not equipped to be counseling anymore. I got a lot of things going on. And what he told me was, the reason how you're going to get healing is by helping other people. So the words that I was saying out my mouth were literally words to heal me. So I'm like, oh my God, but I don't want to do it. So then I had to question myself, do you like being sick? Do you like it? Because if that's the answer, why aren't you doing it? And some of it was just like, I just don't feel like, I don't want nobody to tell me their problem. Like, I got a lot going on. I don't care about anybody else, right?
Yeah.
But once I kid you not, and Rashad told you, every client had something going on that was going on in my life. And the words I would say to them, I'm like, thank you, Lord, you answered my prayer. It really was a prayer answer or a strategy. And I really believe if I have not done what he said, I would not have got that revelation as well. It was people. Someone came to me with the same tumor. I was like, oh, I just had to look up and laugh at God, like, yeah, okay, I got it, because of course that was a struggle, that was a change that I didn't want. But because of that, I was able to help somebody else, and the words that God gave me to say to that person, it blessed me and helped me to move forward.
Yeah.
Because you never think you're going to meet somebody who's alive and telling you about, and younger. So the thing was with change. I do pray, like some things. I think it's the thing, we want to control our change.
Yeah, So here's the thing, especially when it comes like with you, because this is just your personality. You want to be able to dictate the terms of everything. You want to be able to dictate the terms. You want to know the terms, and you want to make sure that those terms are then executed in the way that we said that they were going to be dictated.
And I want the outcome to say.
And you want the results to be what the terms were supposed to be.
Only way I want it different if it's more. I don't want less.
Yeah. So and I think that was a major difference, especially early on. I'm talking about the other episode about how I believed in things, and then things would eventually happen.
Yes.
And then you would be like, well, why is this happening?
Honest, Rashad would believe in some preposterous things. Don't put like it's gonna happen. I'm like, Rashad, I'm from faith without works is dead. So I'm like, okay, let's make this happen. This gonna equal up. This gonna equal up. I'm like 1 + 1 + 1 + 1 + 3. Like, let's add it up and let's do steps and let's do a plan. And nah, don't do that. It's gonna happen. I'm like, this dude is crazy. What am I doing? And lo and behold, it will happen. And I use you a lot when I talk. Just because your mind frame was on optimistic, that's what you created for yourself. That's all you saw was optimism. With me, it was like, I said amazing, like, how were you able to accept that when it's nothing there for you to even make that request?
Because that's like that's the essence of having faith. And
Same
even
thing, right?
Yeah. And even this is like, and even if you're not like religious or believe in like, the Mosaic Bible, it's still the same thing, because you have a thought, you have something that you want to do. You then you prepare for that thing, and then you take the steps to actually see it through. And sometimes there are no steps, you do no preparation, you just simply believe.
And sometimes your steps don't come until you walk.
Yeah.
And that's it. But look at that, we both use the same definition of faith, both biblical. But the way we dealt with it was different. So in our journey, because of that, you have taught me to jump sometimes. Sometimes still like double dutch, like oh, I'm ready. But Rashad has taught me to trust, and even like sometimes when it go reverse, and I'm like, it's gonna happen. You like Kesha? No, it's not. I'm like, yes, it is. And then it comes to fruition. You like, yo, you said that. It has switched because I saw, and it was proven through you that you're just the fact that you believed. Things happen because you believed it.
Yeah, and a part of me like wants to make sure like I get some of that back because I somewhere along the line I lost some of that.
Maybe because I took it.
I don't you can't take what
I know.
I have. I don't know, and some of it is, and to be honest, is literally just going through the change when you had your change, your tumor, because a lot of it was like, man, like this is what it is.
And then having the car accident shortly after.
Yeah. They had both of us being in the car and back car accidents.
Yeah.
And
I got in a car accident. I was T-boned. And then the next day, you got in the car accident.
The next week.
Next week, you got in the car accident.
Yeah, I had to deal with it at work. So there was some things that definitely some changes that we had to encounter that made me like, man, like I gotta hold on to what I have. So some of that, some of that I know like I've lost, and I need to go back and reclaim some of those things. So,
and even I don't know if this helps, but even when those incidents, those things happen, I remember you saying why things always happen to you. I remember you saying like why these things always happen to you, and I'm like I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
and it was such a very exhaustive, like genuine. Because I felt sad for you. Like, man, this is it's not like, yo, God, this ain't even fair. Like, I don't really see your point in any of this. And to be honest, some of it I still don't. So that's just the reality of being aware of life's changes. And then, am I gonna accept these changes, or am I gonna actually not and reject them and live in a state of being mad and upset? And that's my comfort zone. I don't mind being mad or upset. So I had to really start to come around to like, okay, this is what it is. I got to now adhere to something different. And it's hard. It's hard at times to really stick to something different that you're not comfortable with, and also that you don't really see the point of doing.
And for me, my coping, and that's the thing, knowing your coping skill and having your partner knowing how you cope. My coping skill is not to do anything. When I'm overwhelmed, I just shut all the way down. And I don't do anything. That's why even, like, if it's a certain consequences, like, to sit me down, it's like, cool, I'm here, I'm comfortable here. Like, this is rewarding to me. So even in all those instances, I hope you found some courage that I still get up and go.
Yeah, definitely. There's a resiliency that wasn't there at first at all with you. So that in that change in you is an encouragement for me. I know that I have to in order to maintain myself and maintain like little leg of my sanity is just having to do the process for myself.
Yeah.
And really making sure that Rashad is good, that even like yesterday, I was pissed almost all day. Nothing went right yesterday for me, So and also recognizing that even though it may seem like a very insignificant thing to me, it still meant something to me.
Right.
And that was hard for me to accept. So like nothing really was going right.
Could you beat yourself up about you not acknowledging what happened? Like something happened, and he beat himself up about why am I so mad? Why am I so? How about have the feeling, process the feeling, so it can move on instead of you kind of having this inner fight of why you feel this way.
Yeah. It's very exhausting. So I did that yesterday. I acknowledged it. I even talked to you about it, and I was like, okay, so.
And see, and that's the thing, because Rashad is really such an optimistic person. When he's mad or down, it affects the whole household. It really does. So at the dinner table, when he be like, and everybody, he like, what's wrong? But he asked, you asked Matt, what's wrong? And it's really because we felt your energy. And then as soon as you kind of process it and get back, or I don't know, you process it, or you just like, well, let me push it past me and start going back to your other self.
Yeah.
The tape, we all got, it was light.
Yeah, and it's and wrapping this up because we over like, and it always amazes me how, as like I don't even understand like how my mood can affect other people, because half the time if like someone else is pissed off, I just won't care and I keep on doing what I'm doing. But like with this and with us, like I really be out here being like the head of my household. And that's can be to you all's detriment, or it can be to everybody's benefit. And recognizing that I truly have a say in that is very, it's scary at times, that you have that much sway, because I really don't even want that much, so yeah. I'm not sure if that's a really good, happy note to end on, but that's really what it was. Like changes is
inevitable.
Yeah, and it's necessary. So,
and change can be good.
Most of the time, change is good, but it is what it is. Yeah. So that was a good episode. It ran long. If you listen to this whole thing, you're the real MVP. I really appreciate you guys. We got a little deep on that. I wasn't expecting that, but it's all good. Yeah, we will see you all next week.